keen as for this one. This beat's really fire. I went out and got this version of the Jupiter 8. It's an emulation, obviously. It's by Tal Audio. I think that's what they're called, Tal Software. Just call it J8. So it's a Jupiter 8 emulation. Apparently, like ripsquad use a lot of like Jupiter 8. I don't know if they have like a real analog synth or whether they use emulations, but this one's fire. So it's got a lot of nice like presets, and then I've just gone through and I just like kind of tweaked them to try and make like this blade kind of style sound / whitearmor. So this is the melody that I had. I'm just in C minor, and the progression's 1, 7, and 6, and then back to 7. So it's just like your pretty standard progression, one that I use like a lot. So this is my melody. I started off with all these orange notes. I wanted to create something different to what I usually make, so I left kind of these like gaps. I was intentionally trying to make like space because I know like whitearmor tends to do that a lot in his like the way that he writes his melodies, and I don't tend to do that a lot. So I just wanted to like experiment and try and make something different. So I did that, left some spaces. It sounded a little bit too empty for me, so then I started writing some little like top notes. So that's all these orange ones at the top. So yeah, it's kind of like a whitearmor type like sound straight away you get. I added rhythmizer to that. So it's just this volume automation that I always do, but I've just got it dialed back to like 35%. So there's not actually a lot of it in there. It's just enough to make it, just give it that a little bit of movement. And then I put on this pedal. It's called a Hot Fuzz. So it's an Ableton stock guitar pedal. I just played around with some of the settings. I turned up this gain a little bit and dialed back the dry wet. I just wanted to like give it a little bit more of like a trashy kind of blade style synth sound. Just give it a little bit of grit. And then yeah, so we're obviously using the Jupiter 8 emulation. So I've got this preset. I played around with some of these like waveforms. Can't remember, to be honest, like exactly what I did. This octave, like I played around with a little bit. I'm not sure, to be honest, like it's pretty confusing. So the best way to start is to just like tweak something, and if you don't like the sound of it, then just like pull it back up. And I just go like one at a time, just kind of like tweaking little things until there's something that you like, and then you're like, all right, I might just like adjust it a little bit more. And anyway, really good VST. So I started off with that, and then I layered it with this bass. It's just a Reese bass, which is pretty common for like blade and whitearmor kind of sound. That's just following the root note. It's like really simple. The next thing that we had was this second synth that comes in and just adds like energy to the beat when it just drops. That was the Jupiter 8 emulation again. I got this preset called Ozone, and I just tweaked it a little. I think I played with the octave. Once again, I can't really remember exactly what I did, but yeah, I just tweaked it a little. Then I put on this plate reverb. The preset was Bright Tunnel. I just tweaked it a little bit, and then I put it through this kind of like ripsquad thing again, just this volume thing. So for me, when I'm creating this kind of synth, like I'm thinking of like Waystar or something like that, like on Ice Dancer. I know that this process sounds good with a reverb before it. I tend to put the reverb first, and then I put this ripsquad like volume automation. It's kind of like a side chain, and it really just like exaggerates it and makes it sound like really exciting. And then I froze it into audio, which sounds like this. I took the tail of this audio and I cut it off, and then I like created a new track, and I put I think the same plate reverb on it, set it to 100, and then I just froze it. And then if we go over here, I've just reversed it and pitched it down an octave, so it creates this transition. Another thing to note as well is I left this on beats mode just because I wanted to give it kind of a like digital sound, like a harsh digital sound. You can kind of hear it. It's like kind of like, it's a little bit jittery, like jolts. I really liked that, and if I had it on complex, it would probably just smooth out those the joltiness. And then our third element, I did like this, just like a sine lead. It was like a plug lead. Well, actually I started off with it. Then I just like siphoned through presets that I've made, and I found this one that I liked. So once again, I got the bright tunnel, kept the same reverb because I wanted it to sound cohesive. Wanted all the elements to sound like they're in the same environment, but I just tweaked like the dry wet, and the pre-delay is another good place to start. I think I also tweaked the width, and then I also half-timed it, and I added a gate as well, and I pulled back the dry wet to 75%. So the drums, I reached for just as many blade drums as that I had. I had this Frosty the Snowman hi-hat. I also laid it with a clap, and then I just laid it with like 3 other percussive snares. And then the 808. So the 808 is from Be Nice to Me, and then I also laid it from the kick from Be Nice to Me. So here's what they look like and sound like. Just for like the hook part, I added in like the ripsquad crash, just like on the one. I also laid it with an open hat. I also like varied the pitch. So here's what they sound like. Pretty much the only other thing that I did to the beat. So I just arranged it. I found some kind of like sections where I could just take out some of the MIDI just to like give it a little bit of variation. And then I also like, I just kind of found a little section where I could switch it back to the bass that we had in the intro just to like break the beat up. But yeah, that's everything. I just added all of my synths to a group, and I just high passed it to 220 hertz. I could probably like, well, I could definitely EQ the synths like a lot better and spend more time doing that. But I mean, I made this beat in like, I don't know, like an hour or something, and I just wanted to get it together quickly. My whole theory on mixing and making beats is kind of like, I just try to like mix less, and I try to just like pick the right sounds with using my ears. Yeah, I like to pick the right sounds that aren't going to clash so that it's easier for me to mix, and so that volume will do most of the job, just getting the volumes right, and your mix is going to sound like pretty great anyway. Like I said, I could spend way more time mixing, but like I'd rather spend time making more beats, because at the end of the day, it means that I have like a higher quantity of beats as opposed to like less beats that are like maybe 5 or 10% better. I don't think you're going to be able to mix it like that much better than what it sounds like once you've kind of like leveled everything right and you're just running it into a self clipper. So yeah, this is what the beat sounds like. So once again, thank you so much guys for watching. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me when I kind of like wake up in the morning and I see like what people will comment in, and yeah, all that kind of stuff. Like the support has just been incredible. I appreciate it so much. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep posting. This is kind of just like a daily diary to me now. Check out my Patreon if you want this project file. This beat will be up on BeatStars. Keep an eye out, bringing out a stash kit shortly, so just working on that. That'll be up soon. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.